Hello, my name is Cheryl Buckwalter, and I'd like to welcome you to Wholesome Habitat. It is an eco-friendly design plan for the new California landscape. This landscape is worthy of National Wildlife Federation designation. And why do I say that? Because it provides water, shelter, and food for wildlife, welcoming in birds, bees, beneficial insects, and other creatures into the landscape. There are a variety of features in this landscape for the entire family. It connects children with nature. There's an edible garden, which we'll look at more in depth in just a few minutes. And there's an abundance of textures and colors throughout the landscape. So first, let's look at this little dashed line. What is that? That is a split rail fence, and instead of being the old-fashioned, if you will, split rail fence, it's actually made of a composite material. There are shade trees here in the front yard. This is a pineapple guava that gets fabulous red and white flowers on it. And then there's an African sumac over here providing much welcome shade. This is a cercis, a western redbud. And then we have a ceanothus. What you might notice is there's some little squares that go across the driveway here. This is a type of paver that goes right across the driveway and allows water to soak into the ground. From the downspouts, water is brought onto the driveway and flows into this area. Also, there are freestanding individual concrete steps that guide visitors to the front entry. And because they're freestanding, there are spaces in between each one that will allow the water to soak into the ground as well. And what that means is the more water that stays on the property and soaks into the ground allows less pollutants and less toxicants from going into the gutters, into the drain inlets, and then on into streams and other waterways. There's a decomposed granite pathway that will lead us to the side here and all around to the other side. What's really neat is that you can walk completely around this landscape, as you will see, by all of the access routes that have been provided. Let's go, however, at this time to the side yard. This is where a lot of production, a lot of edibles and food for your family and friends to enjoy. This is where it's grown. It's an edible feast garden, and everything needed for this productive area can be found right here, from the eco station where there are recycled bins for recycling, and where there are compost bins. There's a little workstation here complete with a sink for doing potting plants and so forth. And these raised beds right here have a trellis so that edibles can grow right up the fence. A nice little sitting area for everyone. And the ground is covered with a wood mulch so that the moisture can soak into the ground there. Weeds get suppressed, and also the temperature is moderated. Do you see this little circle here? That's a downspout that leads to a rain barrel. And there's a hose bib here that allows water to soak into this herb garden right here. As we go through this arbor and this low fence, we are guided into the backyard. There's the children's corner here with a wonderful shade tree, a play structure, and a small table and chairs that's been repurposed from a tree that had to come down. Here we have lawn. It's just the right size. It's usable. And the children can run across the lawn. They can go up and across the thyme that smells ever so good to step on, right up to the citrus grove where there are many types of citrus trees growing there. Kids can run on back down over to this labyrinth that is just chock full of low-growing plants, herbs, and annuals that they can smell and feel, wonderful textures. Here we have a composite deck for lots of hanging out in the backyard, being able to watch the children play here, as well as being able to enjoy this water feature that has the water that just bubbles out of the top, and then there's pebbles, and sometimes we'll have recycled glass around the bottom. Then you can come right down across this deck right here. There's a ramp that makes it very convenient for moving this barbecue up onto the deck when you're ready to entertain or cook your meal. And what landscape is complete without a pet? So we have our very own pet-friendly area here. There's a covered kennel. The pet, your furry four-legged creatures can have their own lawn when they're not out romping in the backyard with the kids. And then we have more recycle stations over here. We want to recycle whenever we possibly can. You go through the gate and voila, you're back into the front yard again. You can refer to the plant list to learn all about the numerous edible plants, from the blackberries and blueberries along the side here, the herbs over here, the citrus in the back, and all of the plants that are used in the labyrinth. Careful consideration has been given to grouping these plants by their water and solar requirements. Thank you for visiting Wholesome Habitat, the eco-friendly design plan for the new California landscape. I'm Cheryl Buckwalter, and I wish you happy gardening.